Good morning, everybody. We are on day 30 of our Pray and Go challenge. So this is our last um, morning with our challenge, and today's title is "The End is But the Beginning." You've done it. You've made it to the final day of your 30-day challenge. So let's review some of your accomplishments. You prayed for 15 days specifically for areas to make you a more effective Great Commission Christian. You delved into the 5 Bible passages that encouraged you toward the Great Commission. You obeyed the command to go to 60 homes and pray for the residents. You wrote 5 letters or emails of encouragement. You asked God to heal any broken relationships in your life. You invited 8 people to your church. Look at that list. Look at what you've accomplished. Look at what God has accomplished. Now, let's wrap up this Great Commission challenge with prayers for God's continued work in your life. You have come so far. Ask God to continue his work in your life to make you a Great Commission Christian. Pray for those who have received your letters or emails. God has already been working through the letters, emails, or texts you've sent. Some may have included words of encouragement. Some may have expressed your desire to let the recipients know that you have prayed for them. All have been God-sent messages. Earlier, I mentioned a text I sent to a friend whose wife was in late-stage dementia and no longer recognizes her husband. He has always been an incredible support for her. He loves her dearly. He hurts deeply. When I sent my friend a text of prayer, support, and encouragement, he responded almost immediately, "Thanks, Tom. I needed this just now." I pray for my friend more diligently. Pray for the residents of the homes. Over the past month, you've walked to or driven by 60 homes and prayed for the residents. If we assume an average of 4 people in each home, you prayed for 240 people as you walked by their homes. That's incredible. Can you imagine the needs, the pain, the hope, the challenges present in each home? Do you wonder how many of those residents are not Christians? Do you wonder how many are not in a church? Here is what is likely happening in your life right now. When you drive or walk by those homes, you think of the people inside differently. You realize at a deeper level that those houses represent real people with real needs. You have greater compassion for them. You have a greater desire for them to know Christ. You might not find out on this side of what the heaven, the difference your prayers have made, but maybe you will somehow make the connection. Remember the story of the person who was able to figure out that a new believer in his church lived in the same home where he had once prayed? You might make that type of connection. You might not, but you can be assured that God is working through your prayers. Take time again to pray for the people in those homes. Pray for your own heart and actions. This 30-day challenge has had a number of prayerful goals. Certainly, it is your desire to see those people become followers of Christ. You want for others to be healed physically and emotionally. You prayed for specific challenges they may be facing, even though you likely don't know the details. But the primary purpose of this challenge was to move you toward becoming a more effective Great Commission Christian. Sadly, most Christians do not share the gospel. Far too many ignore or disobey the commands of Christ to be his witness. I admit that I often yield to the sin of busyness. I know the fact of the Great Commission. I know that I am supposed to be about the work of witnessing and making disciples for Jesus. I know that every Christian has received this command. And I know that Christ has given me everything I need, all of his power and authority to be his witness. But too often, I get too busy for my own good. My priorities get mixed up. They are not always God's priorities. I do some good things, but I don't always do the great things God has called me to do, particularly the Great Commission. Do you identify with any of these struggles? If so, pray for yourself right now. Pray that you will give priority to those things that are God's priorities. Pray that your heart will break from the things that break the heart of God. Pray for your church. I hope you are active in your church. I hope you realize how important the local church is in God's plan. I hope you remember the New Testament from Acts to the first 3 chapters of Revelation was written about and to the local churches and the local church leaders. If most of the New Testament is about the local church, it must be important. Take time today to pray for your church. I hope others in your church joined you in this Great Commission challenge. Imagine what could happen in your church if 20 members took the challenge twice a year. Those members would go and pray for 2,400 homes in a year. Think of the possibilities. Even more, pray about God's possibilities. As a reminder, you don't have to wait for your pastor to start this Great Commission challenge. If you are in a small group or a Sunday school class, you and your peers can take the challenge at least once a year. Think about how that could change your church. Above all, pray for your church. Pray for your pastor, pray for your volunteers and staff. Pray that your church would be a Great Commission force in your community. And pray that the community would be open as members of your church engage with them with the gospel. The end that becomes the beginning. You've done well. I mean it. You've done really well. You have persevered and taken this challenge in God's power. You truly have Great Commission gift. You truly have Great Commission grit. Yes, it is the end of the 30-day challenge, but I hope you will come back to it again and again. I hope we will sign a date every day of the year of the day of the challenge multiple times. The Great Commission is not just another program in the church or another activity you check it off. It is a command from Jesus, and it should be the way of life for all believers. You have been asked to pray for many people in the course of this 30 days. Now I'm going to pray for you directly from Scripture. Look closely at the words I'm praying. They are the prayer of my heart. I pray that your love will overflow more and more, and that you will keep on growing in knowledge and understanding. For I want you to understand what really matters, so that you may live in pure and blameless lives until the day of Christ's return. May you always be filled with the fruit of your salvation, the righteousness character produced in your life by Jesus Christ. For this will bring much glory and praise to God. And that's Philippians 1, 9 through 11. So day 30, it doesn't seem like it's been 30 days at all. I appreciate those of you that have stuck with us, and for the other members of my core that have been reading this. And then I've been following another core, another church, it's the Chandler Salvation Army. They have been also doing this Pray and Go 30-day challenge. So I pray for their church and their pastors and their leaders, that they continue with their Great Commission, just as Mesa is planning and looking to our review in the spring. Well, God bless each and every one of you, and take care, and I love you.